There has been some confusion in the Foreign Office, and as it turns out, after consulting with our local diplomats in the Ottoman Empire, the Jabal Shammar are actually an emirate of the Ottoman Empire, and as such are part of the conflict on the side of the Ottomans, which means that sending additional troops to assist with the efforts is going to come as quite a surprise to Iran. We will potentially position them in the desert near the capital, and then attempt a rapid thrust towards Basra to cut off the southern flank of the Iranian troops, destroy these divisions, and then join with the forces that are holding the line near Baghdad and Mosul. Talking about Mosul, we are about to retake it. The Iranian troops there are overstretched, and we are pushing them back across the river line. That should give us should restore supply towards Kirkuk, which means we can resume potentially offensive operations from Kirkuk. Field Marshal von Rundstedt has taken over control of the northern force, and once the southern force arrive, we'll see who else is available to do that. And on the home front, there has been another clarification that the action taken to absorb railways only leads to a temporary increase of production efficiency and not in a permanent one, which means that our research, that is the next available research project, is going to go into advanced machine tools, because we are slightly behind the times here, and we may be able to use the assembly line production methods focus in order to get the year ahead bonus for that. That might not be a terrible idea. In China, the situation is surprisingly positive. After massive gains and retaking Port Arthur from the Japanese, the Qing government is expanding north, and we will probably at this point we are at this point capable of relocating our efforts north. The strategic thrust is going to be along the supply lines towards Harbin, and we will see if that's enough to get the Fengtian government to capitulate, rather than trying to fight them over in the hinterland where there is absolutely no infrastructure. So in order to do that, we are going to get a new front line for these forces here. There we go. And the supply lines are going north here, so we are probably going to be thrusting on the other side of the river. But we do need the railway connections, so we will see what we do here. But we'll concentrate forces here, and then we will be planning. Let's see what it is. Unternehmen Donauübung. The Donau exercise. Okay, a little far from the Donau, but again, this is all to confuse the enemy. And the secondary forces are going to be used to hold the lines. I think the Chinese have somewhat stabilized the lines at this point, so we can shrink the front line here, and make sure that we have all these divisions joining in. So I think one last position we can actually take here in the mountains, but the Chinese will have to hold Andong against Japanese incursions. We are having green air. There are no fighters left in the North China Plains. The lower Yangtze is clear. And that means the first Jagdgeschwader here can be grounded for the time being. While in the north, we have no resistance either. So with the fall of the airport near Shenyang, that has completely freed up the airspace, and the Nachtjagdgeschwader and the medium bombers are having free reign over the air zone. They have the range without much problems to cover it, so I think we are in a good position. So we'll get the troops over there, and we have a couple more volunteers running. The cavalry divisions from the Ma clique support, after Mongolia has been defeated, are moving east towards a potential incursion through fractured Fengtian lines, if that becomes a viable route. into the open plains. And in the south, we are making slight progress on the Siamese front, but it's not a great situation, because we are at the edge of our supply. What we could try would be to see if we can cut off some divisions here in the north, destroy them, and then weaken the overall resistance, such that we can potentially make a push towards Chiang Mai, take the supply hub, and despite the fact that there's no connection, at least we can use whatever local supplies they have stored and make some inroad towards Siam. Siam is a potential threat in the long term anyway for our interests, especially given the very poor performance of German East Asia against the Indochina uprising that has been going on for years at this point. All right, so the Egyptian, the war against Egypt and the Sinai looks relatively stable. Turkey has sufficient troops here to hold that area. Yemen is about to fall. That frees up the troops in the south. And we will be pushing back Iran in the north. So, Jabal Shammar has allowed us to send troops, which means I can potentially send an air wing over here as well. What do I have available? We have the 1st Kampfgeschwader, but I am not sure that they actually have airports. It looks like they do not, unfortunately. So in that case, we'll have to contend with sending them over to the Turkish air regions, and we cannot send additional planes, but we will wait for our volunteer divisions to arrive. And the troops, the Iranian troops near Mosul are about to retreat. So I think once that's connected and we can resupply Kirkuk, then we can conduct further offensive operations and liberate the south. There is quite an Iranian incursion here, but I think they will be holding that in the desert, hopefully reasonably easily. And many things happen in Germany. First of all, the nominations for the 1914 Nobel Prize in Literature already reaching the Nobel Prize Committee, and among them is an unexpected name, Wilhelm Storost, more commonly known by the name Vidunas. He's a spiritual leader of the Prussian-Lithuanian community, a member of Theosophist societies, a poet and philosopher, as well as a noted preserver of local traditions, folklore, songs, and even their ancient pre-Christian faith, which he has sought to rebuild and redeem. His moral influence among the shrinking Lithuanian-speaking population in East Prussia is unquestioned, and he has even made a name for himself on the other side of the Memelland. Memeland, in the Kingdom of Lithuania, where his works are read and cited. Of course, he has garnered respect among German intellectuals as well, although his minority status and focus leaves him relatively unknown. Still, the news were met warmly in Berlin and with joy in Tilsit, and though his victory is not assured at all, merely taking him into consideration is a significant accomplishment for the Prussian Lithuanians. The only point of tension is the possible clash between him and the aristocratic Prussian establishment. A considerable portion of his works is dedicated to the conquest and colonization of Prussia by the Teutonic Knights, and the destruction of local culture and way of life that this process caused. As not only Prussia, but arguably the empire itself originates from the territories gained in the Ostsiedlung, this has gotten right-wing press to deride the poet as unpatriotic. So we can either get 2% stability by complimenting him for German literature, or we can change the popularity. No, I'll take the 2% base stability. That gets us up to an 800. We cannot fall to the temptation of the extreme right. We do have to try and balance that as much as possible, because as much as they like it or not, minorities do exist, and we have the Reichspakt to consider. So we do have friendly countries in the east, and if we give in to the Prussians' more base needs or desires, then we might alienate too many of these people. So 2% base stability, I'll take it. No, what else is going to happen? Neither sturmfest nor erdverwachsen. Sturmfest would be storm resistant, and erdverwachsen would be kind of grown to the earth, to the soil. So this is probably about my local settlements in Prussia, I guess. Prussia is a large realm and rules over many territories whose population is not too fond of their East Albion overlords. While these opponents of Prussian rule can mostly be found in the distant periphery of the empire, some of the most ardent regional patriots, in fact, do not live too far away from the capital. The Lower Saxons, oh yeah, these people, who inhabit the Prussian province of Hanover, the Duchy of Brunswick, we've had problems there before, the Principality of Schaumburg-Lippe, and the Grand Duchy of Oldenburg. While similar to the Prussians in faith and dialect, they have a strong regional identity that reaches back thousands of years, and the Hanoverianer have a deep disdain for the Prussians due to the annexation of their kingdom back in 66. Come on, this is old history. Manifest among others in the existence of the Guelph Party, whose main aim is the restoration of a sovereign kingdom of Hanover within the empire. Lower Saxon patriotism, however, is not confined to the DHP, but also has a strong extra-parliamentary presence, most prominently in Lower Saxon Homeland League. The oldest German regionalist movement, it evokes an ever older image of the flat and marshy territories between Elbe and Ems, celebrating the medieval spirit of the Saxon kingdom that bravely asserted itself against Romans, Franks, and Staufers, and embraces illustrious leaders such as Arminius, Duke Widukind, and Henry the Lion, famous scientists like Leibniz and Gauss, and acclaimed writers such as Hermann Löns, Wilhelm Busch, and Hoffmann von Fallersleben. Hanover, though local patriotism to the far northwest is strong, it never was enough to actively resist Prussian rule, as petty rivalries have plagued the Lower Saxon movement for decades. The official Song of the Lower Saxons does not even include the lands west of the Weser. A Protestant Harzer does not have much in common with a Catholic Emsländer, and the Oldenburgers are so proud of their Grand Duchy that they keep a certain distance to their brethren on the other side of the border. Annually, the Homeland League convenes the so-called Lower Saxon Day to foster local identity and celebrate their common history. But one thing's for certain: as long as the Prussians control most of the region, the Lower Saxons will remain a spiritually divided people. So, local squabbles, and this is actually, I mean, it doesn't go to this extent, but today, if you are in Germany, you definitely feel that certain regions have certain opinions about certain other regions, both north and south and east and west, which can go back to a certain amount. As long as they squabble, they will remain under the Prussian boot. Simple as that. 10 political power, I'll take it, which gives me enough political power to start. Not sure if I still need to do one, but we'll do one more here since we're at it. That's infrastructure, building slots. We'll just take the civilian factory. Okay, that should be enough. And then the next political power we can use to begin. What do we still need? We can still get. We can still get a political advisor, but I am also somewhat tempted to get either a theorist or to get somebody in the into the military high command. Now we could get, for example, Walter Wever for a strategic bombing genius for rather cheap, because he is we currently have the spirit of the Air Force, but. I would not mind. We've got a couple ship genius. We've got von Manstein, who's an armor expert. That would probably be quite nice, and we can potentially use some of our own generals and field marshals that are still ranking up. So filling this out would be good, but we might have to do a political advisor still first, and I'll have a look. I don't need Zera anymore. 5% political power gain would be good, but we have the stability at this point. Fritz Tarnow would be kind of interesting for 10% factories. Schacht be quite nice as well. A spy master for 2 additional operatives, and that would be nice. Production efficiency, factory output, consumer goods, that would be pretty good as well. Don't need that, don't really need that, don't need Konrad Zuse. 10% research speed in like flat out, be quite nice. And what else do we have? We did have this is civilian war support, production cost, armor speed 5%. Yeah, we could take that. Max Planck as just plain out industry. And we have, this is civilian factory, captain of industry, and Middle Europa. Nobody that I feel like immediately needed. Having just a 10% research speed flat out would be kind of nice. So Max Planck would be pretty good, and yeah, 10% research speed might actually be worth it, honestly. So I might take one of them. We still have Günther Gericke, who is not super useful. Obviously, we can't remove ourselves. And we've got Fritz Thyssen currently here for military factory construction speed. So that's good, because that's something we're doing. But yeah, 10% research speed might not be a terrible thing to have. So that's something we can do. Anyway, enough from the home front. Let's get back to the conflict at hand. How's China looking? Yeah, we are pushing. Do I still need to push them out? Honestly, the Chinese are doing that themselves. So yeah, we'll keep going, and we can potentially. There's relatively weak opposition on the northern flank. We can take these 5 divisions, and we can probably assault from here. So let's see if we can get around and secure the northern railway between the rivers here already. And then that frees us up to push along the eastern bank of the river with the assault divisions. The 2 Sicilies has joined the Donau-Adria Bund. Okay, now that gets interesting. So Austria-Hungary is building up things here. So we've got the Donau-Adria Bund, interesting, which contains. If we look in faction, which contains the south of Italy and most of the United States of Greater Austria, and so forth. Oh, it seems they're starting to absorb. It seems that they're starting to absorb their subjugated countries. That's what I was kind of thinking, that they would sort of start streamlining things there a little bit. So the United States of Greater Austria are clearing out the local kingdoms and unifying this and working with Italy as well. So there might be a clash with the Italian Federation eventually on the lines, but we will see about that. First of all, we are fighting in the Mesopotamian air zone, so the first Kampfgeschwader does not quite have range over it, but we don't have a closer airport, so we'll redirect them there anyway. The Jagdgeschwader has no range absolutely to get there, so they can just stick to this. We'll take them off air superiority for now because we have no good target. How's the Egyptian air zone looking? Egyptian air zone has nothing on it. So what we could do, we could send the first Jagdgeschwader to the south to Jerusalem and work on, not the Kampfgeschwader, the Jagdgeschwader to Jerusalem. Come on. There we go. And we'll get them on aerial superiority over Egypt. And the Kampfgeschwader stays where it is, please. And we will use you on Mesopotamia for what it's worth, because we don't hold the Baghdad airbase. So that'll be an important strategic goal. Meanwhile, we've got a sandstorm happening. But the attack on Mosul is progressing, and the Iranians are getting pushed out with the help of a Turkish assault here as well. The revolt of the totalitarians is completed. So now let's see what that actually gives us. Die Fronde. The late stages of the Weltkrieg proved that the wars of the future will be nothing like the past. They will require total mobilization of states' resources in order to rally the largest military force they possibly can to outlast their opponent. As such, Germany can only win the next war if it follows the principle to the letter. Die Fronde, an antiquated term meaning the revolt, unites two smaller factions with similar goals, the psychologists and the Volksarmee. They are hardline militarists of the far-right ideological outlook who seek to improve the psychology of the German soldier and establish a people's army, a highly nationalistic and ideologized military which encompasses all of German society. Ludwig Beck, Joachim von Stülpnagel and Werner von Blomberg are the main ideologues, with their spiritual grandfather is General Max Bauer, one of Erich Ludendorff's closest colleagues and an ideologue of his Ludendorff dictatorship. Though not all of them are on good terms with Schleicher, his ambitions of transforming the German Empire into an authoritarian regime guided by the army align with Die Fronde. As such, they are natural allies. So we get all on board for, well, do you want total war? Yes, we do. It is in line with what von Schleicher is seeing as a global threat of most of the world banding together against Germany and our distributed global interests. So if we want to remain the primary country in the world, then and the leader of the world, then we have to consolidate and silence all those that speak up against it. And that unleashes a lot of new decisions that we can use. We can get ourselves. We've got some decisions to increase the grip of Die Fronde on things in general. So right now, the influence on the military is 50%. You will have access to a plethora of decisions to promote commanders aligned with your faction and strengthen the hold of your faction in the armed forces. The greater your faction's reach, the more national foci you will have access to, spending faction grip by taking them, and the more you will be prepared for the Second Weltkrieg. The War Preparations Act, I think, does not actually require anything else from us in that regard, but it will. There obviously are things where we spend influence, basically. So so right now we've got 50%. So we go down here towards unrestrained warfare to get rid of the debuff. We will expend 10% of the grip. This gives us 15%. The call to total war. And we've got a couple more here that in this tree. So the first thing we're going to do is to move. This would be good as well. Okay, Terry, don't get distracted. Where we can use this to move down to unrestrained warfare, and I think that's the first one I'm going to do. So that'll expend 10%, but it will convince the population that total war is indeed something that is on the table. And what else is available from this? Oh, okay, because that's command power. Oh, we can use command power. Interesting. So we can just get a 20%. We can promote von Blomberg to just get 20% immediately just by using 25 command power. Yes, let's do that. Or von Stülpnagel, which makes him available as military high command, but doesn't assign them. What is he? Orclos when moving, 5%, 10% resistance, reinforce rate 6%. That's not bad, actually. But or we could just give von Blomberg a skill slot. Do we have von Blomberg actually engaged anywhere right now? Von Blomberg. Where is he? Markensen, Kleist, Halder, Rundstedt, Hammerstedt, Werner von Blomberg. He is he's Field Marshal von Blomberg, so he is probably currently leading. Yes, he's currently leading the Asian theaters, where he's not quite useful. So he might be needed at home. So we will probably unassign him, and because these troops are just here to hold Singapore in case of open war with Siam, which is not unlikely, but I think he's going to be more needed elsewhere. We'll bring him home for now, and he might be able to take over command of some of the Turkish forces. But yeah, let's do this one, and we can potentially do the other one. This is relatively easy promotion of our influence in the army. So let's get that done. And here we are. How's it looking in China? We're still pushing towards Mosul. Assault in northern China is looking reasonably good. Troops are on the move here. Troops are on the move here towards Shenyang in order to advance. The first assault divisions are already here. We will see. They are trying to reinforce. So let's start pushing instantly. Pin these divisions down, and we have taken the north bank of the river. And that clears up the road towards the next supply position, which is north here, and instantly counterattacked here, but that is not going to help them. And they are relatively open here, honestly. I think we can exploit this further. So I might actually just get one infantry division moving north just to exploit this further and break through the weakened Fengtian lines. And we're still waiting for the... Okay, there are the additional troops. So 4 assault divisions pushing north. And the goal is the supply hub here, which is weakly defended. So we will instantly take it off them. And then consolidate our positions north of the river and deprive them of their supply lines. And meanwhile, the regular infantry is going to, or we're going to focus, however. So let's make sure that we are not extending the lines too far back, and we are pushing forward. They are trying to consolidate their lines. We do have to keep an eye on the Chinese to make sure that they are not. I do need an additional division north here, please, to make sure that they are not cutting us off anywhere. So I will leave one division behind. Let's just move three forward. Take the supply hub. Consolidate the front lines. Capturing a Dutch operative. Yes, we definitely have ways to making you talk. And there we go. And the regular infantry is just here to secure these positions. So everybody else can and should move up. Okay, that means we can move one division up to these divisions further north. And we are already in reach of what is it called? Changchun. Changchun, maybe. So we may as well just keep moving if we are steamrolling them like that. Passive sonar is completed, and we will keep moving on. So do not give them time to breathe. The cavalry has arrived, but there are large amounts of Fengtian forces in the mountains here, so we're definitely not breaking through that anytime soon. How does it look on the Siamese front? Not great, but I think we've almost got them. So we'll take them. We'll take the position, but then we will redirect the forces here in order to try and go for an encirclement potentially. In India, we are holding off counterattacks still from the commune, which seems to be making inroads towards the Dominion. So I'm not too happy about that, but not my problem right now. We have retaken Mosul, which has led to the forces in the south being resupplied, which means we can once again attempt an assault on Baghdad. So that is probably the best course of action here. So let's see if we can move on Baghdad from here during a sandstorm, which is not the greatest not the greatest way of fighting, but well, do hold Mosul or reinforce Kirkuk, please, so we're not getting cut off. The additional troops are still en route, and we can now, and should, research the advanced machine tools. Okay, so let's get that done. And we have, what is it, Germania Werft, which we are using for, I think, for the cruisers mostly. Yes, so Germania Werft is used for cruisers, so let's get that upgraded. Where have we gone with this so far? Range on... well, this is the third level, so we've gone range and surface visibility. We can further... This is more for raiders, and this is only for capital ships, so not helping. And this is, yeah, so this tree is not that interesting for us. This is mutually exclusive. This is for submarines, which we're not using. So this would be minus 5% fuel usage. It's not bad. Or we are going to capital ships and screens further down here, and production output. Yeah, it's not bad. So let's take... I can't take this. Oh, it requires all of the following. Okay, so I'm going to have to go through here, even though that actually doesn't help me. This is exclusive. This is useless. Surface detection 5% would be nice, but again, not huge. Max range, max speed. Okay. Yeah, we'll take the raiding submarines. We don't need to update anything because we're not actually upgrading. We're not actually using that for any production. Okay, we are not going to be doing any of these just yet. Right now, our influence is at 70%, so that would be a waste. We can work on spending that first. All right. In the sandstorm, troops are pushing south from Kirkuk, and the Jabal Shamar divisions have arrived. So under the guise of the sandstorm, 4 German divisions have landed in the port of the east, which isn't the perfect position. We will send them north through the desert. We can assign, who do we have available to assign here? Yep, we send Blomberg. And the first operation is going to be... No. Okay, you move. No. Okay. Take the railway, move there. At your offensive order is going to be to push along the railway line and take Basra. And then cut off the south, retake the port in Kuwait, destroy the Iranian divisions, and then liberate the rest of the southern flank. So let's get these troops moved to the front line, please. Okay, and they can take the railroad if possible. Through the desert, or trucks, or camels, whatever you have available. As long as the sandstorm lasts, get there. Meanwhile, we are fighting in the north, and it'd be really ideal if we could retake the airport, because the first Kampfgeschwader is going to be, it's no closer airport anywhere, is going to try to give some air support, but they are absolutely at the edge of their range here. So there's not an awful lot that we can do to help, but we will try to fly over the region and to assist with that. Additional troops about to arrive in Kirkuk, and if we can retake Baghdad, that would be massive, because that is yet another supply position that we need to retake. Meanwhile, in China, we have taken Changchun, but this is about as far forward as we probably want to push at this point. We are running again into Japanese troops, not as many as we thought we could get, but with the supply hub secured, that means the road to Harbin is relatively open. Now we have two options. We can either try to consolidate our front lines here and expand westwards and try to cut them off and destroy them, or we are pushing towards Harbin. How far is the Fengtian government towards capitulation? They have, what are their major population center? Harbin, but they do have a couple more in the north. So taking Harbin is probably not going to capitulate them, which means strategic destruction is potentially the better option here. And in that, so we will shorten the front lines there we go, for a western push, instead of taking Harbin off Fengtian. But now that we've reduced their supply here quite significantly, we can move the assault divisions north and then push across the plains, join up with the cavalry on the other side, and which is potentially going to need, ironically, going to need some trucks to deliver supplies. And destroy this whole flank here, and then once we have that secured and consolidated, then we can move up towards Harbin and further north. Once we take the capital and the supply positions here, then we are in a much better position. Okay, so we may as well exploit. We'll send one division to here, and we'll exploit the fact that they are on the run, pretty much, and see if we can just break out a little further. And we've got, we'll consolidate troops here to probably across the river line here first, cut off the southern divisions, clear that up, and then deal with the rest. Okay, back to the Ottomans. Have we made any progress from Kirkuk? We are still, the bombers are just too far out. We really need to take the airport here. We're still quite far off. Counterattack from the north, unfortunately, which is going to, not so bad actually. There are some Turkish troops here holding Kirkuk, and the Heer needs more men like him. He just died. General Wilhelm Gröner, a renowned hero of the Weltkrieg, has passed away today in Bornstedt. During the Weltkrieg, his reforms of the military railway system helped the Imperial German Army gain the edge on its Entente rivals. But his cooperation with civilian authorities as head of the Kriegsamt earned him criticism due to cooperation with trade unions and inflammatory comments towards corporate interests. Can't be having with that, and he was temporarily disgraced. Gröner returned to importance in the army after Ludendorff's fall and became involved in civilian politics, earning a name as not just a capable military commander, but as an able liaison of the Heer's interests in the government and in the Reichstag. His passing is mourned by his peers in the army and by his family. Wilhelm Gröner, was he available as an advisor or as an admiral, as a general? Let me have a very quick look. If he was in the list of generals. No, we don't have him. Okay. Well, he is retired, so that's that. Okay, troops are almost in place. They just definitely need to mobilize supply as much as possible, and then we will attempt to cut through to Basra in the north, while we are still pushing south from Kirkuk. The one infantry division has gotten here to assist, and Argentina is actually done. Bolivia has capitulated. That means Argentina has expanded north. Yes, they have. And I would argue that almost argue that probably Uruguay and Paraguay are next, and then Peru might look on the menu. But Argentina is definitely expanding rapidly. We have, I'm not sure what the supply problem here is. We should have enough supply. How is the China situation? Okay, Japan has actually reinforced here. That is fine. We don't actually need to go that way because I would like to cut. The Japanese we're starting to see significant Japanese reinforcements now. Oh yes, so we've got 5, 6, 9. Yeah, we've got a Japanese field army on our hands. So consolidating our gains here was probably the right move. In that way, we're going to assist immediately with the assault here, and we can support that from the lines. And we can probably attack from here as well. Not directly, however. Okay, so we'll definitely concentrate our assault here, and we will send the assault divisions from von Manstein, under von Manstein, across the northern line here. Try to consolidate this, cut them off. There's still 5 Feng 10 divisions here, so the cavalry is not yet going to join. Not yet going to join battle. The Japanese are counter-attacking, so we do have to be careful that we make sure we're holding the northern flank here. I'm going to make sure the infantry divisions are holding the northern line rather than the south. And once the assault here has been defeated, once the Japanese counterattack has been defeated. Our infantry divisions are quite powerful at this point. Once that has been defeated, then we'll consolidate. We'll consolidate east. We'll destroy as many divisions here as we possibly can, and should we go further north? We potential. There are too many divisions here. I'm wondering. Can we launch this mountainous terrain? That'd be terrible. Even in the forest here, there are too many divisions here. Let's not overdo it. Let's just clean up some divisions here and consolidate our lines in the face of significant Japanese reinforcements, because I don't trust the Chinese to hold things here. So let's go back to the Ottoman Empire, where we have. We are once again okay. Kirkuk is held, so we can assist further, and we are now pushing into Baghdad. Kesselring falls ill, which is unfortunate, but it looks like we're about to take Baghdad, which would not consolidate supply just yet because we're not holding the other side, but which would make quite an impression there. Where are my divisions here? Okay. The Iranians are actually getting pushed back here by the looks of it. So now they're still cleaning up Yemen in the south, but I think Iran is getting pushed back. So the divisions here are just let's shrink their front line a bit. The divisions here are just organizing themselves for the assault. But Unternehmen Bismarck is still go. Once the assault divisions have regained their organization, and Baghdad is about to fall. If that gives us an airport, that would be a massive gain. But I'm not sure exactly where the airport is near Baghdad. So let's see if we can take that. But our assault divisions, the Iranians have no chance. Baghdad has been retaken. Does that mean I can relocate the 1st Kampfgeschwader? It is not, unfortunately. There should be an airport here, but we might have to scout a little bit more to actually determine where exactly it is. If we can, we do have supply here for now, so right now we'll just hold here, and we might counterattack across the river against that weakened division here. We've got 2 infantry divisions here to hold the lines near Baghdad, and I am actually going to delete the front line up there north. We'll leave 1 division in Mosul, given how essential that is, but the rest of them here in the south can have a... Well, we'll do the front lines when we get there. Okay, 4 divisions, probably about combat ready-ish. So let's begin pushing, begin Unternehmen Bismarck. Actually, let them move out first. And then push towards Basra and see if we can still manage to encircle some of the Iranians. Give them a moment to push out from there. The assault divisions are extending their lines, and we have to correct the front line here. So they are actually to focus on the eastern lines now, please. Potentially. No, that's the wrong front line. It's this one that I would like to change. There we go. Okay. That'll move the assault divisions over, and yes, we're driving them in front of us. At how's the air situation? Absolutely clear skies, so our bombers have free reign. And these 5 Fengtian divisions are starting to look a bit on the weak side. So let's attempt a cavalry, given that they are constantly under attack here. We might attempt a cavalry assault, and we may actually... we'll defend this first. We might actually try to just push north here. Can we dislodge these guys out of the mountains? I doubt it. But we'll give it a try. Or we might be able to. So the cavalry divisions are pushing north with air support into the mountains. And how does it look here? Alright, let's try, given that we are completely out of supply, let's try to... That is not what I was trying to do. Let's try to shorten the front line. I thought I did that already. Here. And get all divisions on that. And then where? I appear to have lost 2 divisions. What happened? They couldn't have been cut off because we haven't been pushed back anywhere. They got lost in the jungle by the looks of it. So I am entirely uncertain what happened here. They definitely didn't get cut off anywhere. But we only have 2 divisions left at this point. So I think given that situation, I am going to not waste these 2 divisions. But in the northern jungles of Siam, 2 entire German divisions have been lost. A tragic loss, because these were experienced divisions. And again, no idea how or where, because they should not have been... We have definitely not been cut off anywhere. But, yeah, things happen in the jungle, stay in the jungle by the looks of it. So this is a cursed front line, and we are not going to continue fighting on it, I think. We still have 2 divisions left, but I think that is a... We'll send these 2 divisions north, honestly, and help with help with other means. Rome has joined the Entente. Okay, that is an interesting development. I thought Rome was on the Donau-Adria-Bund. Apparently not. So Sardinia, Corsica, and Rome have joined the Entente, which might mean that Italy is going to try and retake things which might get the Entente in direct conflict with the United States of Greater Austria, which have consolidated their holdings here. All right, so Baghdad has been held. Troops are consolidating the lines, and we are ready for Unternehmen Bismarck to go towards Basra, cut off the southern Iranian troops here, and make sure that they don't cause any further trouble. Iranian counterattacks south of Baghdad should be repelled without too much trouble. And the troops are pushing through here. Meanwhile, over in China, stop the attack here. Okay, the assault into the mountains is, yeah, that isn't going to happen. So we're not pushing through the north here, at least not without assistance. So let's wait for, shrink the front lines, concentrate the front lines further. Get all the assault divisions first of all in place, and then we will attempt to push northwest into the mountains to destroy the whole western flank of the Fengtian government here. This position is advantageous, but we have to contend now with significant Japanese reinforcements. So yeah, and also along the northern flanks here. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Ottoman divisions are, yeah, everyone's holding here, and Bismarck is already on the go here. Again, a sandstorm, probably to our advantage. So let's make sure we leave one division behind, just to ensure that we're not getting cut off anywhere here from the inevitable counterattack. Yemen has capitulated, which is ideal. And it looks like the Egyptians are actually pushing back the Turkish defenders here on the line. So let's see if we can finish off the Iranian incursion quickly. And while the troops that were busy in Yemen hopefully can do something about Egypt, we'll try to finish off Armenia, Kurdistan, and potentially Iran, or at least push Iran back sufficiently that we can then focus on Sinai and Egypt in the next strategic move. In the meantime, yeah, we've got all 4 divisions concentrated here. Where can we break through? We probably want to give them a second to disperse here, and then launch Unternehmen Donauübung again. Okay, they have dispersed, so assault divisions attack. And we might try, yeah, they are concentrating a lot of troops here now, so we might try a breakout towards the north and see how far we can get. But we do have to be a little careful, and I'm going to get the rest of the infantry to hang in with us here to make sure that we are, now that the Chinese are holding the positions, to make sure that we are focusing our efforts on the right places. Are we still fighting in the Fengtian air zone? We are. We still have complete aerial superiority, which is good. So breaking through there. Meanwhile, in the Ottoman positions, everything looks reasonably stable here. And we are facing a significant Iranian contingent in the north. Let's see if we can manage to push them back to take the railway lines, or we just bypass them in the south and just take Kuwait. That might be the better option, actually. So instead of banging our heads into Iranian heavily fortified Iranian positions along the railway line, we can move and take Basra through the desert, just making sure that, and that'll encircle the southern divisions here, cut off Kuwait and consolidate the lines. Meanwhile, northwards, I think there's the airport, but I think we'll send one more infantry division south, and then we might launch an attempt at the airport, because that would enable us to actually get air support here. In China, we are getting counterattacked. Where do we go from here? North. North is probably the way to go. So keep pushing north, and see if we can cut them off through the mountains in the north here. But we do have to be careful with not to overextend ourselves here. And Japan is sending reinforcements, and Guatemala has defeated the Salvadorian Commune. That is good, I guess. That means fewer. Guatemala appears to have cleared house, and fewer syndicalists in Central America. All right, 2 hot fronts. Bismarck is still a go. We do need to leave 1 division to defend here, and 2 more to assault Basra. So we are defending against the Iranian counterattack. We're about to retake Basra, And then from there we will move south and destroy the encircled Iranian divisions for the first major victory against Iran in this conflict, I would say. And we can push south towards the airport to get ourselves some air defense. And I think the Iranian front is starting to fray now, which means that the Ottomans are definitely on the move. Last thing we'll look in for today's episode, the formation of the Central America Confederation. So, that is the Buenos Aires-Lima axis. That is the Central America Confederation. Central America has long been divided, the various nations under heavy American influence ever since the Federal Republic of Central America dissolved nearly a century ago. With the advent of the Second American Civil War, however, the region was swept by conflict and turmoil, and different ideologies struggling to assert themselves in the storm. Now that the dust has settled, it seems that the land has been united under the liberal and democratic Confederation of Central America. Much is still uncertain about the country's future. The nature of the constitution, the location of the capital, and the political parties which will run the nation are all undecided. But what can be determined is that this marks a new dawn for the Republic. It won't end well. I'm not entirely opposed. I'll see this as a bulwark against North American syndicalism, because honestly, the syndicalists are making, they're well past the Kansas-Minneapolis line. There's not much between them and Denver, I think, at this point. And the Pacific states haven't made great progress. So I think this might end up being a syndicalist victory eventually. But for now, we have other problems and other front lines to fight at. And all of that coming in the next episode. That's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.